Okie doke. Welcome. Welcome to today's strength training class. I am Sarah, if we've never met, and I'm glad that you are here. Thanks for being here. Congratulations to you for showing up for yourselves. Nice work already. So I want to talk about just a few orders of business before we get into moving. The first thing I always like to say is check in with your energy level, because as you do with any kind of physical exercise, when you join this class, you join at your own risk. All right. So if you are brand new beginner to physical activity or new physical activity routine, and you're really not sure about what is safe for you, then I always recommend having a quick check-in with your general practitioner, your doctor. Let them do a full kind of workup. Just give you the good, clear okay before getting started. That's just, that's for those who are new and maybe dealing with some chronic issues. It's always a good way. It's always a good idea. Um, for all of us getting into any kind of physical exercise, the more aware and in tune you can be with your energy level, the better. And you can always adjust. So my recommendation is, one, if you have not slept well, if you're under a lot of stress, if for whatever reason you're just feeling drained, then I give you two options here, okay? One is, if you want to join this class, that's up to you. I suggest, though, that you, rather than pushing to your maximum, trying to carry as heavy weight as you might think you could on a good day, instead just focus on your technique, on your form, on getting some movement in, but don't try to push all the way to your edge. All right, that's the first way to modify if you are under a particular amount of strain or stress or tiredness. The other option is to pause on this class, maybe come back to it tomorrow, and instead take a nice long walk. Something that is gentle like that, that will still absolutely benefit you. And while you're walking, get your heart rate up a little bit, get into that zone 2 training level that you've heard me talk about in our weekly workout schedules, and stay there for 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you feel like you can do. That's going to give you a lot of benefit without putting you under the strain of having to lift. And yeah, it just makes sense, right? Okay. Last order of business is, I live with my brother Max, who has an intellectual disability. We are in our home gym here. So you may see him traipsing on by when we're in class. Just ignore him. He may even start to stand over here on the side and do some things trying to steal attention, because that's what little brothers do. So just pay him no mind, okay? So for today's class, we are going to start, as always, with some mobility work, a quick stability exercise just to get our core engaged, get us prepared. We're going to jump right into some sprint intervals, doing plyometric exercise. I will demonstrate that when we get there. And then for our lifting routine today, we're going to be doing side lunges. And I'll just note, this is everything we do on Thursdays is in compensation to what we did on Monday. So we're going to be moving in different directions, different planes, different kinds of flexion, extension, so that throughout the week we get a full body workout. And so Monday we did rows, and we did single leg lunges or single leg squats. So today for our lower body, we're going to be doing side lunge and a deadlift. Deadlift is really a full body workout, but it definitely works the glutes and the hamstrings, the back. And we're going to be doing an rotating overhead press. So in all of my classes, I guide you to lift towards heavy. If you are a beginner, I don't want you to go that far. If you're a beginner, I want you to stay with a light and a medium weight. And I'll talk more about that when we get to these exercises. If you have experience with if you have some, I would say at least some weeks of resistance training experience, then yes, lifting towards heavy is the best way for you to continue building strength and continue getting results from your workout. So depending on where you are, I'm going to give you options as we go. So let's start. We're going to do quick mobility work here on the floor using the foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, get a towel, roll it up into kind of a tight position like this, and then later go order one of these on Amazon or run to your sporting goods store, get a roller, maybe get a couple different options. If you're not sure, you can get a softer or a firmer one. You can get both. And so, yeah, we use these a lot. So get yourself one. If you don't have one, a towel will suffice. Will suffice for now. All right. So we've done this before. If you've taken class with me before, you're going to start under the armpit here, rolling just sort of up and down. You can get all the way into the armpit, into that soft tissue in your armpit, and go backwards and forwards, getting some good rolling along the side of the rib cage here. So let's get started. We're going to spend about 60 seconds on each side. Here we go, starting my stopwatch now. Oh, yeah. This is a really excellent spot to hit for the shoulder, upper back, for anything that you're getting ready to do, whether it's strength training, whether it's jogging, walking, swimming. This is a good thing to do if you are sore from a workout. So doing it before or after. The main thing is to know that with soft tissue work, to get any real gain from it, after you do the soft tissue work, the self-massage that we're doing here, you want to then move your joints. Move it in the direction that you are trying to gain mobility in. That's kind of a biomechanical principle that we loosen up the soft tissue and then we move in order to gain improvements in mobility. All right, that was 60 seconds. So let's switch to the other side. I always say with this work, and I'm watching my stopwatch again. Here we go. If you hit a spot that feels really sensitive and tight, you can just pause, take a deep breath in and out, and then keep moving, okay? This should feel pretty good. If you're feeling pain, then you've got something that's too firm and you want to get a softer roller. So as you do this more, as with anything, you kind of gain more tolerance from it. That's why I said earlier, if you're not sure what firmness you need, you can always choose a couple of different ones, a softer and a more firm version, and just see what works for you. And you may find that you start with softer and then you work to a firmer roller. Last seconds here. Yeah. All right. Then now we're going to go to the hip cuff. The hip cuff is just between the upper hip bone here, your pelvis bone, and this kind of joint down here where you can feel where the leg inserts into the hip. So we're just going to roll that area now. Each side, 60 seconds. Getting into our IT band, our low back, our glutes. You can roll onto it, onto the front if you want to get into the front of the hip. Roll to the back, get into the back of the hip. You guys keep going. I am going to put my do not disturb setting on. Here comes Max. Hey, Max. Yeah. Fortunately, I can't put Max on a do not disturb setting. That would be helpful. No. I don't know why I've suddenly forgotten how to do this. All right, there we go. So, all right, I'm sure that was 60 seconds. So if you haven't already, go ahead and switch to your other side. Let's roll the other side for 60 seconds. And again, just getting in any spaces where you feel tension around the hips, front, back, side. You'll get benefit from this all the way down the leg. We say, as above, so below. Hey, bud, you been at cheer fitness class? Max has been with the inclusion, adults with disabilities, active inclusion, something like that program that our Parks and Recreation runs. Here, it's free for adults with disabilities and special needs. Max likes to join them on Thursdays for their cheer fitness class. Although I think he mostly goes for the social aspect and for playing, for the chance to play some basketball when they're done. All right, so there we go. Soft tissue work done. I'm going to move the camera up so that you can see me moving throughout this class. Hey, bud. All right, so let's get into the plyometrics and version of this. So we're gonna get our heart rate up here pretty quickly. I'm gonna demonstrate really quickly for you what this looks like. We're gonna be doing a running man with doing a running man and a sit to jump training variation. So you're gonna need a chair, or if you've got a box like this, great, something that you can sit on. And then just a little bit of space, gonna move these weights out of the way. See why? And that. Hang on 1 second, my friends. See why? See why? See why? Put Max on his something to entertain him, because he can. Okay. Oh, okay, well,
I'll put it on his, thing.
just try to get him to stay out of my a little bit. All right, sorry about that. So you're gonna do running man. I'm gonna do a 10 count, all right? And for beginners, I want you to try to make it to the 5 count and at least try to make it to the 8 count. And then the 10 count is for those of you who are feeling really confident energy today. So we're gonna do a running man followed by our seated jump. So running man looks like this. You're gonna be in a plank position. You're gonna draw your low belly in and you wanna round your upper back just a little bit, so you're really pressing down into your hands. And quick tip here, roll your shoulders in a little bit, like you're spiraling your hands out. That will help support your shoulders and your wrists here. So it's gonna be a 5 to 10 count here. You're ready, man. Then stop. Take your seat, and it's gonna be, again, a 5 to 8 count of your jumps. And you can, if you've got some small dumbbells or weights, for those of you who are a little further along in your training experience, you can always hold some weights while you do your jumps, just to add a little more resistance. All right. So we're gonna do these back to back as fast as we can. And then we're gonna take about 60 seconds rest and do it 2 more times. So like I said, if you can make it to my 3 count, you can make it to the 5 count, you can make it to the 10 count, great. As soon as you finish your running man though, start your jumps. And again, for beginners, 3 to 5 jumps. For those of you further along, 5 to 8 jumps. And then rest. All right, so get into position. We're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Go. Go with your running man. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get into your jumps if you have not already. See if you can make it to 8 jumps. And you are springing off the floor. You want to be rolling through your foot, articulating the foot to help push you off into that jump. Okay. And then from this moment on, I'm going to count for 60 seconds. Rest. Good job. So one thing I always suggest in my classes is that you have your own timer so that you can take the amount of rest that you need. Of course, you don't have to follow exactly along with my count and with my time. And if you need longer than 60 seconds, you need 2 minutes, if you need 3 minutes, that's okay. Because the point here is to be able to push as hard as you can, get your heart rate up as fast as possible, and then stop. That's why we call it a sprint interval, right? And the purpose of these is this is a science evidence-based practice for improving peak cardiovascular output. So we layer in these sprint intervals into the strength training, along with, if you're following my whole program, then you're also doing some low intensity cardio work, some longer interval work throughout the week. And that's what's been recommended at this point in time by some of the top scientists who study our cardiovascular health, our cardiovascular endurance and performance. All right, so I've been talking long enough. Let's get down on the ground. Start your second round of running mans here. And again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Counting 1, counting 2, counting 3, counting 4, counting 5, counting 6, counting 7, counting 8, counting 9, counting 10. If you have not already, hurry up, get your jumps going. 5 to 8 jumps, using those weights if you would like. Rolling through your feet like you're pointing your toes down at the ground as you reach the top of your jump. Nice job. All right, I'm going to start right now. 60 seconds rest. We'll do this one more time, okay, guys? Then we're going to get right into the lifting portion of class. Truly rest. Move this chair out of the way. I just realized I'm sharing the camera with my chair. Truly rest. You need to sit down. Whatever you need to do to get your heart rate down quickly. And again, if you need a little longer rest, no harm there. Grab your phone, watch whatever you have nearby you to keep track of time. If you're using your phone, what I do is I always turn my display on my phone, set it to where it never goes dark while I'm doing my workout, so I can see, just have my stopwatch running and just be able to glance at it for my time. All right, here we go. Last round in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're ready, get going with your running mans for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And jump right into your jumps, box jumps if you have not already. Again, you're just at the end of this, so make these jumps count. Make it count, make it count. All right, nice work. Sprint intervals are done. Body should be feeling pretty warm. I just realized I skipped our stability workout, our exercise. So we're gonna rest for just a minute. We'll do that, then we'll jump into our weights. So let me demonstrate it actually while you are resting. The stability exercise, it's a really good one. called bird dogs. You may have heard of it or done it before. But just like I said in the running man here, rotate your shoulders in, kind of like you're spiraling your hands out. That'll give you some good support in your plank. So we're gonna be starting on hands and knees. If you can tuck your toes under, great, so that you can push down into the ball of the foot, spread your toes. If that's really uncomfortable for you, you can do this with the tops of the feet on the floor. And again, just spread your toes and gently press the tops of the feet into the floor. So I'm rotating my arms in, spiraling my hands out, grounding through my upper back, and my feet are active, and therefore so are my legs, okay? Drawing the low belly in. So here is a beginner version of this. Beginner version is just to extend the leg out. And we're going to start by making some little squares. So I'm going out, up, in, down, and then up, out, down, in. Just drawing a little square with my leg. My leg is lengthening out of the hip. You can see my foot is active here. And the intent here is to do this work without torquing, twisting, dropping, sinking, yeah? So everything is, my whole upper body is stable and still, and I'm just freely moving this leg in the joint. Now, it's challenging, okay? It is subtle, but it's challenging. But it's really great for engaging our core, learning how to stabilize that neutral spine while there's instability happening in the lower body, all right? That was the beginner version. Advanced version is extending arm and leg together, all right? And I'm on my weaker side now. It's the same thing. I'm drawing little squares, going in, going out, trying to keep my supporting leg, arm totally still, keep my core engaged, keep my spine still. So you see, I'm not sinking, I'm not twisting. Yeah, so those are the two options. That's probably been a good amount of rest. So come down on the floor and get set up with me to start this. So go ahead and get onto your hands and knees. And one final option I'm going to give you, if your wrist's hurting this, is to roll a yoga mat or something up so that, and place it under your wrist so that your wrists are a little bit elevated. So get into your position, draw your low belly in, feel the rounding in the upper back, spiral those hands out, shoulders in, and feel your feet active and spreading on the floor. And then let's start by extending the right leg out behind you. And if you feel confident, left arm extends in front of you. And then go ahead and try here for just a few seconds, making your squares, trying to keep everything in the center of the body, the upper body nice and still and supported, and allow your arm and leg to just sort of move as freely as possible. Once you start to feel fatigued, go ahead and stop. Take a short break, just sit back on your heels like I'm sitting. Maybe wiggle your arms a little bit, wiggle your wrists a little bit. And then quickly go ahead and move into doing the other side. So as soon as you're ready, get yourself set back up, all fours, round the upper back a little bit, feel the low belly draw in, spiral those shoulders in, active feet, and then as soon as you're ready, go ahead and start on the other side, either extending just the left leg back, or both the left leg and right arm. And again, make your little squares. This is really, I know it's challenging, just stay with it. It gets easier. You're gonna have a couple more tries on each side. And once you start to feel fatigued, we're not trying to go past our point of fatigue here. This is about stabilizing the body and preparing it So as soon as you start to feel some fatigue, stop, take a break again, sit back on your laurels for a moment. Take just a few seconds rest. And then as soon as you're ready, go ahead and again, we're gonna do each side one more time. So go ahead and set up on all fours. Engage your shoulders, lengthen through your arms, lengthen down through your legs into your feet, draw the low belly in, extend your right leg back, make it long and active out of the right hip, left arm reaching in front of you if you can. And go ahead and begin to draw your imaginary boxes. Noticing if you have that arm extended, that you're not drawing the shoulder up towards your ear, but the left arm, the left shoulder is drawing down as you reach the right hand out, the left hand out. And then once you start to feel some fatigue, go ahead, stop. Sit back with me again for just a few moments. And then let's go ahead and get to the second side, last time for this. Again, setting up good, all fours, spread your hands, spread your fingers, spread your toes, active feet, active hands all the way up into the torso. And then when you're ready, extend that left leg long out of the hip, active foot and active leg, right arm reaches, right shoulder draws in as the right fingertips reach out, and then begin to draw your square again. Feeling that front of the body really holding everything together, the front of the ribs even kind of threading together, back of the ribs remain a little bit rounded there. It helps support and keep you still. And once you feel some fatigue, stop. Sit back for just a moment. All right. That's such a good exercise to do just to stabilize the whole body and particularly turn the core on. So just like the soft tissue work we did at the beginning, that's always a good exercise to do before you go out for a jog or run or anything you're going to do. Just to really get the core, the torso, the abdominals turned on and ready to support whatever activity, whatever locomotion is about to happen. All right, so moving into our lifts. So we're going to start with these side lunges. Yeah, so let me just demonstrate the side lunge first, and then we'll talk about the weight that you want to use. So using a kettlebell at home, you're going to hold it here. Now, you can always, if you have two dumbbells, you can always hold them at the shoulder as well. Or you can even use two kettlebells. If you have this two kettlebells of the same weight, you can hold them in to the shoulder. So it's just a few different options for your weighted version. Now for beginners, you're gonna do this, at least to start, without any weight. So you see my feet are really wide, really wide, really wide. Toes are about 45 degrees out. I am lifting and spreading my toes so that I can feel the whole ball of the foot and the whole heel all nice and broad, lengthening across the floor. That helps me turn on my legs. I'm pulling the front of my hips. I'm not sticking my butt, I'm pulling the front of my hips up a little bit. So I'm drawing my low belly in. And just like we were doing on the floor just now, I'm threading the front of my ribs together, feeling the back broad. So I'm holding my core, holding my spine long, tall. I'm going to keep it right there as I lunge. Okay. So you can decide how deep this goes, depending on how far apart your feet are. Now, as I lunge, I am sending my bum back just a little bit so that my weight stays back in my heel. Okay. I'm gonna show you from the side. So as I'm standing here, I'm pulling the front of my hips up, drawing the low belly in, my feet are active. But now as I lunge, I am gonna let my pelvis tilt and let my tailbone go back a little bit because I want to keep my weight down in my heel. I don't want to be sending my weight forward over my toes. All right, so try that. Just get into without any weight, get into the position, let your feet just look. Let's find out how far apart you want to have your feet or how close together. Just try a few times coming into this lunge, feeling what it feels like to broaden through the feet, spread the toes, feel the heels nice and broad, legs active. Before you even begin to lunge, feel those front of your hips kind of coming in, low belly drawing in, and then as you lunge, send your weight back just a little bit, your hips back just a little bit, like I'm just taking my tailbone and just whoop, pointing it back, drawing it in, pointing it back, drawing it in, pointing it back, drawing it in. It's a very subtle movement. It's not, I'm not doing this. All right, it's a real subtle movement. Just to make sure that as I'm lunging, I'm sending weight in more into the heel than I am into the. So, tinker with that for a few more seconds if you want. Beginners, you're going to start this with no weight. And depending on where you are in your journey with resistance training, even those of you who have some experience may want to start this with no weight. Because here's what our rounds are going to look like. The first round is a light weight, meaning that you can do 16 lunges. That means 8 on each side. Okay, 16 consecutive repetitions, and still have 6 to 7 repetitions in reserve, meaning that after you finish those 16, you could do another 6, or really 6 to 8 without real struggle, while keeping your form is what I should say. All right, so our edge is the place where we lose form. All right, and that's what we're working towards. But we're starting here with a light weight or no weight with 16 repetitions for the first round. Then you're going to move into a medium weight. If you're a brand new beginner, that means you're going to just use some light weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, okay? You can kind of tinker with it and decide. The point is you want to be able to do 12 repetitions, that is 6 each side, and still have about 4 to 6 repetitions left that you feel you could do without losing your form, okay? Then the last repetition is the heavy, and that means we're going to do 8 repetitions with only about 2 in reserve, 2 to 4 in reserve. So this is a heavy weight. You might be, but you're able to hold your form, and you could do at least each side one more time if you had to without, crumpling. So that's what it means to go from light to heavy. So go ahead and think real quickly about what you want to do in terms of the weight. And you can decide as you go along, you'll learn as you go along. If you're new to lifting heavy, your body will inform you. So just listen and always start with a lighter weight than what you think if you're really unsure, okay? All right, so let's get set up to start. Our 16 repetitions, feet wide. Turn on the toes, spread broad through the foot, feel the front of the hips lift up just a little bit, draw that low belly in, and then go ahead and begin starting with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16. Okay, if you've got a light weight in your hand, go ahead and set it down. We're gonna rest right now, starting at 60 seconds between rounds. So think for a moment if you feel like you were being honest about your assessment. We did 16. You should have felt like you could have kept going for another 6 to 8 more repetitions without too much struggle. If you were really getting towards the end of your kind of limits of your fatigue, then you were lifting way too heavy. Remember, we're gonna get there. So if you feel like you could have done 10 or 12 more of those, then again, you were going too light. So that's how you begin to judge these things. So we're gonna be heading into our medium weight. So for beginners, this is a lightweight. For my more advanced folks, this is a true medium weight for you. So get your weights into position, either your dumbbells or your kettlebell. And let's get ready, get your feet set up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and begin. This is now 12 repetitions, so 6 each side. I'm gonna let you count. This is gonna vary from person to person. I'm gonna keep drawing that low belly in, keep the feet active. Remember, as you lunge from one side to the other, you want to be sending your weight down into the heel more than into the front of the foot. And you don't want that knee to be going real far out over the toes, all right? So if you have finished, then set your weight down. And from this point forward, I'm going to count for about 60 seconds. Actually, I'm going to give you 90 seconds. And then we're going to do the heavy round. So you can take longer than the 90 seconds if you need to. You really want to feel pretty fully recovered before you go into the next round, okay? So if you need 2 minutes, if you need 3 minutes, again, that's totally fine. The point is to be able to push as hard as you can in each round. So recovery in between is really important, and being patient with that recovery is required. So with the heavy weight, then you want to be able to do 4 reps each side and have about 2 to 4 repetitions left. So this is pretty heavy weight. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of courage. This rounds always do. Again, if you're not sure, start with something a little bit lighter, because we're going to do 2 more. We're going to do 2 of these, 2 heavy rounds. So you can start with something a little bit lighter if you're not sure. And if you feel, and if you finish that round and you go, okay, yeah, I could have carried a little heavier, then move up to the heavier weight in the last round. All right, and let's get that weight set up. Let's get the feet set up. If you're ready to join, let's go ahead and get started. Broad feet. It's really important now with this weight that you feel the core active, drawing in and up. And when you're ready, go ahead and start your 8 repetitions here. Being mindful that you're not taking your knee out way past your toes. And as you come up from that, feel that the glutes and the hips kind of scooping up and in. And then you send your tailbone back and down towards your heel just a little bit as you weight down. Keep drawing the front of the ribs together, the core in to support you. And once you have finished those 8 reps, take a nice little squat, send your hips back to drop that weight down. And then we're going to rest for a good 2 minutes. And again, if you need 3 minutes, then you take it. I'm here to guide, but every person is subjective. Every day is different for each individual person. You know, some days we recover faster. Maybe we got better fuel in us. We had a really good night's sleep. you know, whatever it is. Other days, we might be a little bit low in our energy availability. On those days, you definitely need to give yourself the time you need to recover. Every day is different. Every person is different. We got about 1 more minute by my count. You're keeping pace with me. And if you are not keeping pace with me, I'm totally cool with that. You just listen to your body. I'm telling you where you're headed. You get in the directions and then you arrive when you're ready. So last heavyweight round. You know, and beginners, I just want you to stay with a light to medium weight. And if you've hit a point where you're already feeling pretty exhausted, then you can just continue to rest until we reach the next exercise. So I'm gonna say this fourth round is optional if you've got it in you. If you are joining me, go ahead and get yourself set up, get your weights, lift your weight up, draw the low belly in, core is active, feet are active, legs are active, and when you're ready, go ahead and start. Last heavyweight round, you're doing 4 each side. Paying careful attention to your core, use your breath, use your grunt, use your voice. And when you finish, take your time to set your weight down. Make sure you bend your knees, do not bend your back to set your weight down. And then come into a rest period. So good work on those. While you're resting, I'm gonna demonstrate the next movement. So this is a rotating overhead press. This is what it looks like. I don't have any of my lightweights in here. Oh well. So I'm not gonna be demonstrating very many of these because this is a heavier weight. So this is how we begin, and let me just demonstrate picking this up. You see my back is straight. I'm sending my knees are bent, sending my butt way back and keeping my back straight to get my weight up. Using the kettlebell or dumbbell, or whatever you're using, you just want to have that elbow right in, weight right at your shoulder here. All right. So this is what it looks like. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna do one more with the weight. Let me do the other side here. So I'm starting by turning the toes in the towards the direction that I'm going. Yeah. So I'm turning toes, hips. I'm pushing off with that back foot to lift the weight up. And that weight is going right up beside my ear, coming right back down into the shoulder. Okay. So beginners, you're just going to do a light, what we might consider a medium weight, just a few pounds heavier than your light. More experienced folks, you have the option to work towards the heavy round. Again, what does light look like? So you're going to do 10 repetitions on each side. So one side, 10 times, pause, rest for a moment. Second side, 10 times, all right? And you should still be able to keep going for 6 to 7 more repetitions on each side. So this is a very light weight, yeah, to start with. We'll take a 60-second rest. We'll move into 8 reps. 8 reps. So this is a medium weight, and that you can do 8 repetitions on each side and still feel like you could do 4 or 5 more. Okay. Then the heavy will again be 5 repetitions. Feeling as if you could only do 2 or 3 more repetitions, still doing them in form. Okay. So it's not well, I could do it, but it would look crazy and I'd be out of form. It's yes, I could do it. It'd be hard, but I can do it. I can keep my form, I can keep my core, I can keep drawing my shoulder down as I press. I can do all of those things for 2 or 3 more reps, but then I would really be done or out of form, right? That's your heavy round. Again, optional, and again, we're gonna get 2 heavy rounds in, so that gives you a chance to, if you're unsure, do the first heavy round with a little bit lighter weight, and then depending on how it goes, do your final round with a slightly heavier weight. All right, let's get set up. So decide what you're gonna do for your lightweight. Okay, for beginners, this should be a very light weight. And then when you're ready, pick up your dumbbell or kettlebell responsibly, hit it right here into the front of your shoulder. Get your feet set up so that they're a little bit wider than hip width apart, toes at a 45-degree angle. And go ahead when you're ready. Turn your toes, turn your chest, turn your hips, and press that weight up. So for 10 repetitions here. Okay. And as you press the weight up, you want to feel that your shoulder drawing down, your arm and your hand are going up, your shoulders drawing down, and you're drawing down like into that reserve of strength that's in your back. Yeah. Both feet are broad, both feet are active, spreading through those toes, drawing that core in. Using your breath. You can inhale up, exhale down, or if it feels better, inhale down, exhale up. Okay, whatever supports you, but your breath can definitely support you in these. So once you're finished with that round, just hold your weights down at your hip, weight or weights down at your hips. I said weights. Definitely you're gonna only have one weight for this. So you can hold it with both hands, take a moment to rest. Just let your breath come down a little bit, let your heart rate come down a little bit. Getting closer to normal. And once you reach a little closer to normal, you're ready to start the other side. So you're gonna just switch hands. Again, bring that weight into the shoulder, feet hip width apart, active legs. Your knees are soft here, so don't be, straightening fully into the knees, soft knees, but active legs. Draw the hips up, draw the low belly in. When you're ready, take off. 10 repetitions on this side. Again, starting with pushing off that foot, turning the chest, the hips, as you press the weight up. Yeah, just taking your time. The pace that I use is I use a little pause at the top, then I slowly come down. So I pause at the top, slowly come down. Okay. Once you finish all 10 repetitions on this side, again, just take your time to sink your knees, sink your butt down, bend your knees to drop that weight without bending your back. And then let's take 60 seconds from here. All right, so we're gonna be moving into a medium weighted round. So again, this is 8 repetitions, 8 on each side. And by the time you finish, you should feel like you could get 4 more in. Okay, 4 to 5 more repetitions after that point. Might be a little bit difficult, but definitely achievable. All right. All right, we're reaching the end of that 60 seconds. So if you are ready, your heart rate's down, your breath's come down, you feel recovered, get your weight set up. Starting with the first side, whichever side you started with first last time, just start there. Get your feet set up and active, draw the low belly in, get your weight into your shoulder. And go ahead and start your 8 repetitions. If you're still waiting, congratulations, you're listening to your body, that's fine. You just begin when you're ready. Movement begun. You're getting to the end of that round. Again, just give yourself some time to hold your arms down, hold your hands down, just hold that weight down. Take a little rest, maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, if you need to, in between rounds. Again, you wanna go into each round with the amount of energy that you need to really meet the weight that you're carrying. That's why I say there really is no harm in how long you rest. So if you have started again, if you started into a second round again, just pay attention, feet are active, pay attention that your core is active, and as you're pressing that weight up, again, see if you can pause at the top as you draw, and then draw it down slowly into the shoulder. Press to pause at the top, draw it slowly down into the shoulder. All right, for those of you that are keeping pace with me, set your weight down as soon as you're done, if you have not yet finished. And from this point on, I'm gonna give a 60-second count before I ask you to start your heavy weight. Okay. So you're only doing 5 repetitions in this round. You want to try to choose a weight in which you could do 7 if you had to. This is gonna start to feel pretty challenging. So just tell yourself, I can do this. And again, if you're really unsure about what weight to start with something a little bit lighter for this round. And then if you feel that you can go up again in weight for our final round. And about 20 more seconds. Relax those shoulders and those arms. All right, 10 seconds, and then, so go ahead and start to get yourself set up if you feel like you can keep pace with me. Okay. Set your feet up. When you pick up your weight, send your hips back, send your knees down, squat down, get your weight up. You can use both hands to get it into that shoulder. Draw your core in, feet and legs active, and when you're ready, go ahead and start your 5 repetitions here. Again, using your breath, using your voice. You need to grunt out, holler out, that's okay. And then once you've done those 5, you may actually want to go ahead and just sit your weight all the way down onto the ground. Sit the weight all the way down onto the ground. And just take 10 breaths before you start the other side. 5 to 10 breaths. More if you need it. If you blow out like you're blowing out through a straw, that will help draw the heart rate down a little faster. Just a quick tip. When you're ready to begin the second side, again, use your form, use your squat to pick up your weight, keep your back nice and straight. And once you've got that weight up into your shoulder, you're set up and ready to go. You've got 5 repetitions this side. All right. I'm going to give 90 seconds from this moment on. Keep pace with me if you'd like. Taking that rest. Now for beginners, you should still have been using that medium weight, unless you're just really bold. And again, your body is a better judge than I am, okay? If you are really feeling fatigued, truly really fatigued at this point, and you are just a beginner, then I would suggest to skip this last round. You hear my brother's music in the background. All right, so got about 30 more seconds if you're keeping pace with me. Again, check in with yourself at the end of that 30 seconds. If you feel like you need another 30 seconds or so to rest, by all means, do what you need to do. Okay. If you're rolling with me, go ahead and get your feet set up on either side of your weight. And then let's go ahead and get going. Squat down, pick up that weight, get it into your shoulder, get that core active, feet active before you start your final round. 5 repetitions for this final round. Whenever you are set up, go. Paying attention still to that rotational element that's happening here. So you're pushing off with your foot and you're rotating your chest before you press up. So it's a sequential process, not happening all at once. Once you finish those 5 repetitions, again, just like before, set that weight all the way down, take a squat, set the weight all the way down, and then give yourself 5 to 10 breaths before you start the final round. So whenever you're ready, feel recovered enough to get your 5 reps in on your second side here. This is your last round. Go ahead, take your time again as you sit back, squat back to pick up your weight, get your weight into your shoulder. And then when you're ready to begin lifting, again, it's pressing off with the foot, rotating hips, chest as you press up. And again, remind yourself as you get to the top, take just a quick pause and as slowly as you can, come back down. Right, using that slow resistance to come down will help just add more, build more strength in the muscle. So, hey, whenever you're done, again, be responsible as you set your weight down. These heavy rounds, when you're setting that weight down, you just feel like you just want to drop it, which is fine. And that's why I have this foam floor that I ordered from Amazon. I don't remember how much it was. It wasn't too expensive. But if you've got hardwood floors in your home underneath you, you want something like this, or even just a thick carpet, you know, that way at the end of this round, you can squat and drop. Yeah. All right. So continue on the pace that you need to continue with. If you're still resting or you're just now getting your last round in, wherever you are is all good. You can always hit pause on this, by the way, so you can get finished with what you're doing before you move to this last this piece that we're gonna do. So we're just gonna do 3 rounds of deadlifts here to end. Deadlift. So that's a good workout for the whole body, particularly the whole back line of the body, but it does require you being really careful about your technique. So again, I am feet about hip width apart here. My toes are turned out just a little bit. You know, everybody's gonna be a little different here. Same thing, spreading my feet on the floor. And as I bend, I'm not squatting. I am taking a true bend at the hip, but my knees are slightly bent here, okay? And to first time to pick up this weight, you can squat just a little bit, all right? And that's totally fine, just to get the weight up. For the deadlift, what we're gonna do is just keep a slight bend in the knee. We're gonna hinge at the hips. The back stays nice and long, so I'm really using my core, drawing in here, drawing together here to support myself. And I'm sending my weight back into my heels, so you can see my toes are lifted up. There's almost no weight in the front of my foot here to come up. So I'm only coming down to about knee level with my weight. I'm gonna make sure I'm not slouching or letting my shoulders go. Still drawing the shoulders in. Come up, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, squeeze my butt together to press my hips forward. Kind of like a slow motion kettlebell swing to some degree. So again, not rounding the upper back or letting my shoulders go as I come forward, keeping everything intact and just hinging at the hips, sending my weight back, all right? Really important that you not round your upper or lower back here. Otherwise you will definitely be in danger of creating a back injury. So let's not do that today, all right? So we're just gonna do 3 rounds here. So the first round is gonna be using a light weight again. So I want you to be able to do 10 of these and still be able to do 15, 17 with the first round. Again, beginners, you are only gonna use a light and a medium weight. Ignore the heavyweight portion of this. You can still do those rounds using the medium weight. So let's everybody find your weight. You're keeping pace with me. Set your feet up. Hip width apart. Lift your toes a little bit, spread your toes, feel your feet broaden. Draw your low belly in. You can use a squat now as you go ahead and start to bend down. Use your squat to pick up your weight and draw it into your hips. Go ahead and squeeze your glutes when you get to the top. And then when you're ready, start to hinge at your hips. That weight comes only down to about the knees. Keeping the spine nice and long, supported with your core. And as you slowly come up, you are squeezing the glutes and pressing the hips forward. So keep going for 10. If you start to feel this in your low back, please just stop. Okay. If your back feels okay, then awesome. Carry on until you have finished all 10. And once you have finished all 10, set that weight down exactly the same way you picked it up, doing a nice little squat, keeping the back nice and straight to drop your weight down. Then we're going to get a 60-second rest. So if you felt that in your back and you had to stop, couple of options that you have. The first would be to get in front of a mirror or use your phone camera to film yourself. Just check in and make sure that your technique is appropriate. You check in, make sure that you're not rounding anywhere in your spine. Make sure, watch that you are really sending your hips back and your weight back into your heels. And that, you can see that action of the hips pressing forward. Anything that is out of form can certainly lead to some low back pain. So you can try that. Thanks, T.Y. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I know, that's okay. Yeah, so you can just try something without any weight or really, really lightweight, just to test and make sure that your form is there. And if you correct it and you find that, hey, the pain's gone away, awesome. If you are doing perfectly correct form and that pain is still there, then that is a signal that there's something going on. I would get with my physical therapist or my doctor, orthopedic doctor, whatever, sports medicine doctor, just go get a workup and make sure there's not something that you need to be aware of going on in your low back. All right, let's start with the medium weight. So the medium weight, we're gonna do 8 repetitions now. Feeling like by the end of this that you could be doing 12. So use your judgment to decide what that medium weight looks like. Again, go lighter than heavier if you're not sure. Get yourself set up. Feet active, legs active, core active. Use that squatting position to sit down and back to bring your weight up. Once you've got your weight up and you're into position, go ahead and start with your 8 repetitions on the deadlifts here. Again, that weight is lowering just down to about your knee height. Knees are nice and soft. As you lower the weight, make sure that you're sending that weight all down into the heels. Pay attention to your shoulders. You should feel the front of your shoulders drawing back and your shoulder blades drawing down and into the back. And when you finish those 8, just like you did pick up the weight, sit the weight down. All right, we are running up to the hour point here with this last round, so let's give it about 60 seconds or more if you need it again. There is no harm in taking a longer recovery. The harm comes when we do not take enough time to recover. So for my beginners, I want you to maintain with the medium weight here. Don't move into a heavyweight. For the rest of you who have more experience, you're feeling confident, you're going to do 5 repetitions with a heavier weight. So judge that you could do 7 to 8 if you had to. Without losing your form, without shrugging your spine forward. All right, so let's go ahead and get set up to get started. Ready to pick up that heavy weight, feet, everything is active. When you're ready, go ahead and begin. Get your last repetition in here, 5 repetitions. Beginners with the medium, advanced with your heavy weights. Really focused on that form, focused on that breath, focused on that courage. You are almost finished. All right. Once you've dropped that weight down, shake it out. So here's what I want you to do for your recovery today. For however much time you have, hopefully you've got at least 5 minutes. If it's 3 minutes, that's fine. But I want you to put on your tennis shoes and your sneakers. I want you to walk, even if you're just walking around the house. But if you can get outside and walk, just walk down the street a few minutes and back, but just walk. Walk at a good pace, all right? And as you finish, slow your pace down, all right? And then at some point after your workout, whether it's immediately after, if you can, that's great, or if it needs to be later this evening, whatever, do a little bit of stretching. Or if you're not doing it immediately after this workout, you go back to the soft tissue work that we did at the beginning. Do it before bed, while you're watching TV, whatever it is, but that will help support you in your recovery. All right. So happy walking. I will see you all next time. Great job, and thank you for joining me.